So I figure we just talk about politics. So, like, it's easy to talk about, right?
That's my favorite thing to talk about.
Absolutely.
I love it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome down to the Kessel Korner. Today we have comedian, actor, world-renowned Dane Cook. Thank you so much for coming.
Right off the bat, start your timers. Here we go.
Absolutely, man. Dude, I can't believe like this is real life. I grew up watching you and all of your. I mean, Good Luck Chuck was like my favorite movie growing up. So it's like crazy to see you like
the people know you slid into the DMs.
I did slide in. I was like, dude, you're so beautiful. Will you come be on my podcast?
He didn't say that, but now that he's saying it, it's like, okay, facts. We're dropping. But yeah, the DM slide, maybe not even like within hours, and then I'm here. So just letting people know, I am a man of my word. I do check the DMs, and every once in a while I show up. I showed up for you.
You have no idea. Like, I was pissing my pants when you were like, okay, I'm actually coming up the elevator. I'm like, myself.
What if I send somebody else? Like, didn't Logan Paul do that? Didn't he send like a lookalike?
He did send a lookalike.
Dude, that would have been great if I sent like Spider-Man from down on Hollywood Walk of Fame or something. But just no, like, I'm glad I'm here. I love your set.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a rental. But dude, all right, so let's just get into the meat and gravy of it all.
Let's go. Should I be truncating my answers too? Do you try to keep it for the 5 minute? Do you want me to be like 10 words or under, or do you? Okay,
do whatever comes naturally. Okay. We'll figure it out.
If I have any pregnant pauses, you can cut the air right out of it. Don't you like those interviews where it's like, yeah, and then I was everything that happened that day, like they just cut every in between.
Oh yeah, so it's like really smooth or
right.
Quick.
It's just fast.
I mean, that was my intro right here.
Gets you right to the. I stepped all over it. Look at me, I'm stepped all over that. Hold on.
We're good. We're recording. Cool. How did you get into this career and like from Burger King to being Dane Cook? Like
working at the BK Lounge when I was 16. I was a dietary aide in a nursing home. I was delivering the Boston Globe.
You grew up in Boston?
I was, Arlington.
I grew up in Boston.
No, what part?
In Worcester.
Oh, dude, I used to come out to the Aku out there and do I'd go to the Big E, and then I'd do a gig at a place, I don't know if it's there anymore, called the Aku. It was a Chinese food restaurant.
It's gone now. It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite spots because you'd get free spare ribs after your set. I would get paid in spare ribs.
That's incredible. Are you kidding me? I would do anything for free spare ribs and duck sauce nowadays. Like, that's incredible.
I didn't know that we had that we were in the affiliate, man. We're cronies now. I didn't. You know what? It's like speed dating over here. What's happening?
That's exactly what the show is. It's
but can I answer the question that you asked me, or are we on to the next one?
Next question.
It doesn't matter.
No, okay, yeah, please.
No. It was the reason why that's a great question is I just got to meet Martin Short the other night at the SNL 50th. I was back in New York City. And Martin Short was sitting, like, I'm looking into the camera, but he's sitting about that distance away. Wow. And after the evening, and I pointed at him, and I go, I love you. And he goes like this. He looks at me and he goes, and he waves me over. And I got to say to him, I go, in 8th grade, I watched you do Jackie Roberts Jr. $100,000 jackpot wad, which was one of his characters with the white wig, and he was doing this crazy dance. And I said, and it was in that night, I turned to my mom, and he interrupts me, and he goes, you knew you belonged with the clowns. You knew you belonged with us. And I said, yeah. And then I got to host the show a couple of times, and now here I am at the 50th celebrating it with you. You're the reason I have a career at all. And I got some goosebumps. We threw hugs on each other, exchanged emails, and now I'm having a little bit of a chat with Mr. Martin Short. So it's a great question. It's the reason I wanted to do stand-up. I liked funny people. I thought it was a great way to get out of hardship, when you're a kid and, things are sort of like, spiraling around you. Comedy is the great equalizer and chiller of things. So that's why I'm doing it.
What a great way to get into it. And
anyway, that's all the time I have.
Oh, that's great. That's going to go so
that's
viral.
That's so funny. That's going to go viral? The walkout? Yeah. Oh, my God. No, if I smacked you, it would go viral, but I'm not going to do that.
We can figure a way to
no hazing. There's no hazing on this podcast.
Well, okay, so with your movies, I'm genuinely curious. Like, how much of it, like with Good Luck Chuck or Employee of the Month, how much of it is actually improvised?
Oh, man. Eddie Murphy once said, like, the best and most significant improv comes from a great script. And so those scripts, especially Employee of the Month. It was so tight. Greg Coolidge wrote something that was just so, I thought it was so phenomenal. It reminded me of movies that I came up loving, like Stripes or like Meatballs. It was an ensemble comedy, so I thought it's not just on my shoulders, even though I'm entering into like, that was like my leading man, era of my life and career. So for a lot of reasons, it was exciting, but the improv always comes from a funny scene. If it's already funny on the page, then you're like, all right, can I play with this a little bit? If you get to a scene and the director or producers say, there's really nothing written for this, we just want you to make something happen, you're like, that's usually like you're walking into a buzz. Yeah, well, it's not even the pressure, it's a buzzsaw moment, because you're like, if I really don't know the through line of the character, what's perpetuating it, why am I being funny in this moment at all? So I try to stay away from those and deal with scripts that are like funny on the page.
That's what's up. Yeah. So when you were starting acting and you're starting your career, like let's just go back all the way back to Arlington and Boston. Yeah. And when you were starting, did you take acting classes, or was it more of you were watching Martin, like Robin Williams?
No, I was just a good liar.
You're a good liar.
That was my acting class. I was really, really good at convincing, people like my mom, like, listen, when I woke up this morning, there was no fort in this tree. I don't know where those 2x4s came from. I don't know the banging that you heard. It was something ominous. It was something spiritual. No, it was like I had a great imagination. I had people around me that found me entertaining and interesting and let me go, sort of like let the kid dance. Yeah. And then when I got into high school, I met Frank Roberts. He was my drama teacher and mentor. He's the first person who put me in a production. He put me in Anything Goes, which was a phenomenal musical play. Yeah. And I sort of found that it was like, oh, I can...
Wait, so you sing? Hold on, what?
Yeah. I was a song and dance kid.
Musical theater?
Yeah. I did Grease. I was Danny Zuko. I did Anything Goes. And then I did Summer Stock. And I used to, believe it or not, I used to travel to nursing homes with a group out of Lexington. And we would sing... we would just sing like great old Broadway standards, and I'd sing Yankee Doodle Dandy with a bedazzled hat. I wish I had. If I had a bedazzled hat right now, I would sing the shit. Right? It basically looked like this, my hat.
That's great.
But that was the beginning, man. That was like that was me realizing like, oh, when I'm on stage, it's sink or swim, and I don't know if I was necessarily I wasn't sinking. I was taking in water, but I was able to keep my head above. So,
did you ever have a moment where you were like, I kind of really like musical theater? Like, did you ever want to pursue that route, or was it really...
for sure. I still do. In fact, I had an opportunity 12 years ago to do Broadway. It wasn't musical theater. It was a Neil LaBute play called Fat Pig, and he was going to bring it from London to Broadway. We worked on it for many months. Unfortunately, like a week before we were about to go off Broadway, we lost our financier. But I looked at it like, if I can have some success with Neil LaBute in an off-Broadway play that maybe goes on Broadway, maybe somebody will know I can hold a tune, but not yet.
Oh my gosh. All right, so this is a two-part question. So what would be like your dream Broadway show or musical theater show that you could do? And then if there's like a movie or TV show right now that's like, you're just like, I really wish I was on SpongeBob and I was a character on there, or a movie or something like that.
Well,
like,
I will tell you that I would do Anything Goes. If they did if they could do a revival of Anything Goes, and I think with the new like sort of LED Broadway, to be able to make the ship and things like that look lifelike and robust and aesthetically pleasing, it's beautiful music. It's a fun play.
Can you tap dance? Because they have a tap number during Anything
I do
Goes.
a little bit of soft shoe, very soft, so soft that my feet turn inward.
Light as a feather. Yeah.
But I would love to do Anything Goes. I think it'd be a nice like kiss up to Frank Roberts, who put me in that play. That was the first thing I ever did in front of in front of 1,000 people at Arlington High School. So that would be it. Anything Goes, and then. To answer the second question, I loved Succession. I love dramatic work. And as much as I love stand-up in comedic acting, I really love the nitty-gritty of dark characters. So if I could do something in that world of like something like this, a Succession type of show, that would be like my jam. That would be great.
When you did Good Luck Chuck and the Employee of the Month, right? So Jessica Simpson or Jessica Alba?
Or what do you mean?
Who was your favorite to work with?
Oh, I didn't have a favorite. I mean, they both were so dynamic. And I learned more about Alba had so much film experience. She was coming off Fantastic Four and big things in scope and scale that I was hoping to, to be able to play in that world. And then Simpson was just such a, balls to the wall business person. Everything that she was doing with her product line and music. She was like multi-hyphenated. So I can't choose because I've learned a lot from all my co-stars. I really, or maybe I'm just annoying and I sort of pester and I want to understand, like, you're a successful person. I got here through my, trials and tribulations. What are yours? And then how do we sort of break bread and give each other something? So yeah, Absolutely. I don't pick favorites. They're all
do you
all
have
great.
Like a favorite co-star that you ever worked with who was like, it just opened your mind to like a whole new way of thinking or doing the career?
Probably working with Kevin Costner on Mr. Brooks. My first drama, in film, being able to do something that was real gnarly and sort of like nefarious, but I'm on set with Kevin Costner, and every single day that guy taught me something. Every dinner, every lunch, even just standing there waiting for lights to be set up, I'd lean in and I'd say, man, working on The Untouchables must have been. And then he's telling me a Gene Hackman story, or then we're talking about like Dances with Wolves and how he, filmed certain scenes. And that guy's a stud. He's one of the best to do it, and it was a privilege to be able to work with him.
Oh, that's
and
amazing,
I look forward to working with him again, and he knows it. I just wrote him that recently
because
he's doing Horizon and everything. I was like, I grow a mean beard, man. If you need another cowboy,
that's awesome, man. Well, the last question I always like to end with is, what piece of advice would you give to like a rising actor / comedian in today's day and age?
Okay. Great question.
And that's today's interview, everybody. Thank you so much, Dane Cook. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody! No, okay, you can actually answer it.
We have 2 mic drop walkouts. That's entertainment right there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ready? Here it is. You got to know that everybody brings something unique to the table in life and in creativity. You have to be introspective. And if you're introspective and you're willing to go inward and go, okay, here's the things that I need to sweep my side of the street because I'm not living up to it in some ways and means, but everybody knows they have a gift. Everybody knows they bring something to the table. And so I would say to any creative person, once you know what that is, accentuate that, educate yourself on that. If you're great at directing, if you're great at writing, if you're great at performing, if you're just a person who knows how to rally the troops, you might be a great producer. You might be a producer of television or film. Once you know your strength, then you know your weaknesses. So then you start finding personnel, surround yourself with your squad, and once it's you and your very talented cronies that all have a bit of ability, sometimes a lot of ability in a few different places, whatever that is, that's the team you want to stick with. And stick together. Make it your career to ensure that group is going to find each other and work together and collaborate and be collaborative and build, and you've just made your odds even better that one of you or all of you is going to through. And I think that's really the best and only way in a community right now that is always looking for that next team to come in and tell the community what's working right now. So build that team.
I love that, man. Dane, thank you so much for taking the time, brother. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Dane
we're going to do the long handshake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
This is going to be so uncomfortable. I love it. Yeah. I love how we're just get your elbow in there. Dane Cook on all social media platforms. Make sure you go to his website to find his tour schedule.
DaneCook.com.
DaneCook.com. We'll go right here on the website. Bow! That's it, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother.